The 18 Unmanageable Aspects of Life. Xiefeng. The birth of self. Every person's birth is inevitable, beyond individual control or choice. It is purposeful, meaningful, and beyond personal power. In the kingdoms of bees and ants, when each batch of bees or ants is born, only a few become queens, while the rest, whether they are worker bees, soldier bees, or drones, have their roles predetermined from birth. Similarly, in human society, only a few great figures emerge over a century. Whether one is born a leader, a scientist, an ordinary citizen, or even a thief or fraudster, is already predetermined. Life will gradually lead you down the path you are meant to follow. While it may seem like you have choices, in reality, they are beyond one's control. Date and time of birth, family and social environment at birth. Every person's time of birth is inevitable, beyond individual control or choice. Not only can the era and date not be changed, but even the minute and second cannot be altered. Every person cannot choose their parents and siblings, nor can they choose their family's economic status and surrounding environment. Those who belong to the city will inevitably be born in the city. Those who belong to the countryside will inevitably be born in the countryside. Those who should be born in a royal family cannot be born in a commoner's family, and those who should be born in an illiterate family cannot be born in an intellectual family. Gender, height, appearance, innate abilities, and ethnicity. Whether one is male or female, tall or short, attractive or unattractive, gentle or strong in character, or belongs to a certain ethnic group such as Black, Asian, or white. All these characteristics are predetermined by our genetics. They are inevitable, and each individual must accept them without blaming fate or their parents. Congenital diseases. Some individuals are born as prodigies, while others may naturally have less intellectual capacity. Some are born with physical abnormalities, while others carry latent risks of disorders related to organs, blood composition, or the nervous system from the fetal stage. Although they may appear perfectly healthy at birth, these underlying conditions will emerge naturally over time with physiological changes, such as smallpox. These are beyond an individual's control and cannot be predicted or delayed. Spouse, colleagues, friends. A fate match across 1,000 miles is drawn by a thread. The kind of spouse each person will have is already predetermined and beyond one's control. He or she will undoubtedly come into your life, and you cannot avoid or push them away. In today's era of free love, people believe they choose their own partners. However, choice is merely a surface phenomenon. The ultimate deciding factor is still fate. Don't believe it? You can try this. Stand on a bustling street, choose a person you like, then walk up to them and say, "I've chosen you. You must be my husband or wife." See how they react and what the outcome will be. Can friends be chosen by oneself? The answer is no. Birds of a feather flock together, people group by kind. The kind of people you will meet and who will become your friends are determined by factors such as time, character, aspirations, identity, and fate. Don't believe it? You can try this. Write a letter to President Bush saying, "President Bush, I want to be friends with you." Or write to any Nobel Prize winner, billionaire, movie star, or singer, saying, "I want to be friends with you." And see what the reaction and result will be. Can colleagues be chosen? Can the people one interacts with in life be chosen? No. What kind of person you will become is predetermined, and colleagues and people you interact with are those you must deal with. They are the factors that drive you towards your predetermined goal, a goal that you may not be clear about. Don't believe it? You can try this. Go to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, walk into any office and tell them, "I want to be your colleague." Or go to the largest trading company in Sicily, Italy, and tell them, "I want to interact and deal with you." See what the result will be. Aging, lifespan, date, and method of death. Aging and death are inevitable. There is no precedent in human history for self-control to prevent aging or death. A person's lifespan is determined by a combination of various factors, and no one knows how old they can live. The date and method of death may vary, but individuals cannot determine them. Regarding the date of death, someone might say, "My death date is a certain year, month, and time. If I don't die then, I will commit suicide." It sounds logical and reasonable, but I want to tell you, if your destined method of death is not suicide, you won't be able to commit suicide. Perhaps before your planned suicide time, you have already died. If you are destined to die by suicide, you cannot escape it. The methods of death are myriad, estimated to be a million kinds. No one is clear about how they will die, nor can they choose the method of death. Perhaps a person sentenced to death will say, "My chosen method is execution by shooting." As a result, they are shot. Does this mean you can choose? I want to tell you, at this time, your method of death is to be shot, which is inevitable and beyond your control. If, a moment before being shot, you say, "My chosen method of death is to be choked by a strand of hair." As a result, you are not shot, but you pull out a strand of hair, assuming you are not bound. Stuff it into your throat and choke to death. That would be called a choice. But would that work? Dreaming. Dreaming is inevitable and beyond individual control. The timing, content, and scenarios of dreams are beyond one's influence. Who can say, "Tonight I must have a beautiful dream," and ensure its occurrence? The gender and number of one's children. Some people dream of having a son, while others long for a daughter. Some pray for many children and grandchildren, but these hopes and dreams cannot be self-determined. Whether one has a son, a daughter, or how many, is predestined. Some may say that having a boy or a girl is a matter of chance, but then I ask you, why do some couples have 6 sons and no daughters, while others have 6 daughters and no sons? Why do some have no children at all? The factors involved in having a boy or a girl are numerous, and this is a subject beyond science and beyond the scope of this discussion. All I want you to know is that there is a great deal of knowledge involved here, and without reaching a certain level of spiritual cultivation, one can never gain control over it. Occupation. Human society is like a flowing river, and each person is a droplet in that river. Whether the droplet flows in the middle or along the edge of the river is not up to it. Similarly, a raindrop falling from the sky has no control over whether it will land on grass, a rooftop, sand, or a mountain. So, does everyone choose their own occupation? How many people can freely choose their profession? Is your current job something you chose, or were you forced into it by the waves of life? The occupation each person currently engages in is the result of many factors: your temperament, knowledge, upbringing, appearance, speech, experiences, family background, lifestyle habits, and even the length of your legs and the size of your eyes, etc. Even if you have a choice, the range is pitifully small. It's not just that a farmer can't become a governor, a worker can't engage in scientific work, a prime minister can't become a musician, but even a farmer can't become a herdsman, a mechanic can't become an electrician, a real estate businessman can't run a supermarket, and a sports worker can't perform acrobatics. A peach will always be a peach. A sour plum will always be a sour plum. A cherry can't become a watermelon, and a blade of grass can't become a towering tree. If you don't have a good voice, don't expect to become a singer. If you lack musical talent, don't bother with the piano. Those who rob houses are certainly not kind-hearted, and a great monk must be free of desires. The conclusion is, your current occupation is what you are destined to engage in, and whether you can change it does not entirely depend on your own will. Murder and imprisonment. No one can guarantee that they will not kill or be imprisoned. When war breaks out and bullets have fallen in your yard, not only soldiers will charge into battle, but ordinary people will also rise in self-defense. When you know someone wants to kill you, you have no choice but to resist instinctively. An honest and kind-hearted person who has worked hard to earn a little money for survival, if robbed, deceived, or extorted, will certainly seek revenge when the opportunity arises. Except for a few who are naturally inclined to kill, no one likes to kill. But if forced into a corner, one will certainly kill. No one likes to be imprisoned, but prisons are often filled with people. It's not a matter of willingness, but of inevitability. Wealth, fame, and status. There's nobody in the world who doesn't like wealth, except for fools and immortals, and religious leaders are no exception. Even those who often preach that wealth is an external possession, which we cannot bring with us at birth or take away at death, secretly desire more wealth. The question is, while you may like wealth, does wealth like you? Many people rack their brains, strategize tirelessly, even take risks, and travel far and wide, only to end up penniless. Conversely, how many others go about life leisurely, without much effort, yet wealth seems to flow effortlessly towards them? Some people toil their entire lives but can't even earn $10,000, while others, with a mere word, earn tens of thousands of dollars. Some may receive just 2 eggs on their birthday, while others might be gifted a luxury car or a lavish villa. Watching others making money hand over fist, all you can do is stare. Wealth is everywhere, but you just can't pick it up. It's not about lacking intelligence, education, or physical strength. It's about having a weak wealth destiny. Having a weak wealth destiny or poor financial luck isn't necessarily a bad thing. Jesus once said, "It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God." If it's meant for you, there's a reason for it. Don't blame yourself. The same principles apply to fame and status. Turning points and encounters in life. People who have played mahjong know that what hand you will have is completely out of your control. The cards that should come will come, and the cards that shouldn't come absolutely won't. The cards you reveal are the turning points and encounters that constitute your wins and losses. Some people may say that winning or losing is a matter of probability or technique. Saying this proves that you haven't played seriously. If you were to stake your entire fortune on the game, you would find that the role of probability theory and technique is minimal. Sometimes you win continuously, and sometimes you can't win a few hands all night. In fact, your wins and losses are already determined by the field, position, time, and your own mental, physical, and psychological state at the time you play with others. You just don't know it. Everyone has a few turning points in their life, such as going to school, starting work, getting married, being transferred, moving, being promoted, becoming unemployed, being laid off, going abroad, changing careers, etc. There are also some special turning points, such as when war suddenly breaks out, the life of a person with military talent takes a turn. Someone with a natural singing voice is discovered by a talent scout and embarks on a singing career. Their life takes a turn. An ambitious, energetic person encounters a car accident or a disease. Their life path also takes a turn. Those with ambitions for officialdom understand that every new sovereign brings his own courtiers. The joys and sorrows, ups and downs of superiors can cause a turning point in their lives. China's Cultural Revolution caused a turning point in many people's lives, and the reform and opening up, revitalizing the economy, also caused a turning point in many people's life paths. Turning points are inevitable and occur regardless of any individual's will and cannot be controlled by oneself. Next, let's look at encounters. Transcription. In March 1978, a 37-year-old female crane operator at a mine near Donetsk, Ukraine, unfortunately came into contact with 380 volts of high voltage and died. After being kept in the morgue for 2 days, she miraculously regained consciousness. After 6 months of convalescence, one day she walked to the bus station and suddenly found that she could see inside a woman's body, just like an image on a TV screen. She could see the ultraviolet light coming from the sun and the holes under the asphalt road. Doctors admit that she is an unparalleled diagnostic expert, able to diagnose diseases that people easily overlook, and has never misdiagnosed. Li Tsuentian, a boy from Li Bing's family in Taiping Village, Taipingjiu Township, Chang'an County, Shaanxi Province, couldn't speak since he was a child. Despite seeking medical treatment everywhere, he still didn't see any improvement. In 1986, when he was 15 years old, the mute boy went to his uncle's house with his mother. While playing by the well, he accidentally fell into the well. The child suddenly cried out for his parents and shouted for help. After people rescued him, he started to speak. Charlie Philibus, a billionaire from the UK, was born on March 1, 1917, in a farmer's family in St. Lia Castle, UK. Due to financial difficulties and other reasons, he was abandoned by his parents on the side of a big road near a farm a few days after he was born. Just when he was dying, a group of white pigeons led by 2 green pigeons descended from the sky and circled around him, cooing non-stop. Then, the owner of the green pigeons, a farmer named Franz Joseph, came to the sound and took him in. Later, when his business encountered difficulties, it was the pigeons that helped him a lot. To repay the pigeons for their gratitude, he not only established a pigeon association, used the green pigeon as the logo of his company, but also suggested that the United Nations use the pigeon as a symbol of happiness and peace for all mankind. He himself was known as the father of world pigeons. Romulus, who founded the city of Rome, was persecuted by his usurping great-uncle from the moment he was born and was thrown into the Tiber River. But he survived against all odds, was washed ashore by the water, and a she-wolf heard the child's cry and came to the river, feeding him with wolf milk. Later, a shepherd found him and took him home to raise him. On the morning of February 1971, Eddie Robinson, who was 53 years old at the time, had a car accident while driving across a bridge. His head was injured, and subsequently, he gradually lost his vision and hearing, living in a world of darkness and silence. However, on the afternoon of June 4, 1980, a poplar tree in his backyard was struck by lightning. The electricity dispersed to him as he was searching for chickens near the tree, knocking him to the ground. 20 minutes after regaining consciousness, his vision and hearing miraculously returned. It was as if a bolt from the blue had restored him to his original state. Turning points and extraordinary encounters may seem purely coincidental on the surface, but they often have underlying signs. Those proficient in the art of physiognomy know that a person's fortune, nobility, longevity, and even the likelihood of premature death can all be discerned from their facial features. Teachers who have served as class advisors for more than 2 years can often predict among their 40 or so students who will be able to attend university in the future, who will go to vocational school, who will end up unemployed, and who will experience a life full of twists and turns. They can generally draw such conclusions. As the saying goes, one's destiny can be foreseen at the age of 3. This means that turning points and extraordinary encounters can only happen to those who are destined for them. A person without a good voice will never have the turning point of becoming a singer. No matter how much power and control presidents have, they will not have the turning point of becoming a great scientist. A 50-year-old shepherd will never have the turning point of becoming an astronaut. Peach blossom luck. This refers to a pure love affair outside of marriage that leaves both parties longing for each other for a lifetime. Everyone is a unique lock and at the same time, a unique key. Each person's world of love is a locked treasure chest that can only be opened by a matching key. Peach blossom luck occurs when this special key and lock meet, unlocking the frozen world of love between two people. Peach blossom luck arrives unexpectedly, and hope and pursuit are futile. When it arrives, emotions are hard to suppress. The heart beats faster, and one is involuntarily drawn in. The whole world and life suddenly become extraordinarily beautiful. Without knowing the other person's history, character, marital status, social status, or economic condition, you are willing to depend on each other for life, to become one. Marital affection, unrequited love, visiting brothels, etc. are not peach blossom luck. Peach blossom luck is like the thunder and lightning produced by the collision of two clouds, a thunderbolt. It's not 1 + 1 is equal to 2, but 1 + 1 is equal to 1, like a volcanic eruption, a nuclear fission. This upheaval in the world of love is beyond one's control. It's not a chance encounter, but a necessity that comes after reaching a certain age and experience, attracted by a wave of information emitted by the physiological field that one cannot feel oneself. Eating, drinking, excreting, sleeping. When you're hungry, you must eat. After eating, you must defecate. When you're thirsty, you must drink. After drinking, you must urinate. When you're tired, you must sleep. This is the inevitable law of physiology. If you violate this inevitable law, the result is certain death. In the face of this law, people are powerless and can only go with the flow, following the inevitable. Enjoying blessings, suffering hardships, enduring suffering. What kind of blessings you enjoy, what kind of hardships you suffer, what kind of suffering you endure, are predestined, are inevitable. To explain this issue thoroughly requires a lot of space. I only provide the following information. Please think, comprehend, analyze. Having the same parents, growing up in the same family, living in the same social environment, decades later, the life paths of brothers and sisters vary greatly. Some have a lifetime of happy families, economic prosperity, and a happy and satisfying life, while others have a bumpy and unsuccessful life, unhappy families, and numerous difficulties. What causes this? Why? Where is the root? Some people are born in poverty, born in remote mountainous areas, can't even wear a decent piece of clothing, can't afford to go to school. While some people are born in abundance, carefully cared for by servants, attending aristocratic schools. Why? Where is the root? People who have read the novel Water Margin think about it. Why did Gao Qiu make a fortune? Why did Lin Chong go to Liangshan? Where is the root? Some people, a day's income can exceed the total of dozens of farmers' hard work for 365 days. Some people at a young age are working in the key departments of the country. Some people struggle for a lifetime and can't even become a section chief. Why? Where is the root? Visit a few prisoners in prison. Ask them why they committed crimes, why they went to jail, and then summarize. See where the reason is. If you are a boss, ask your employees, my daily income is dozens of times yours. Why don't you learn from me and still work for me stupidly? If you are a worker, ask your boss, I sweat blood all day, but you come and go in high-end hotels. Why can't we change our identities? Ask yourself again, why am I like this? Why is he like that? I graduated from university, and my wife is still dissatisfied with me. He is just an ordinary person who graduated from elementary school, but his wife is obedient to him. My cultural level is the same as his. The starting point is the same, and I have been working in the same unit for many years. Why can't his children go to famous universities abroad, but my children can't? There are thousands of such questions. As long as you can explain the above 7, you will know that the blessings, hardships, and sufferings in a person's life are beyond human power and are inevitable. 16. What path to take? What kind of person to become? I remember in 1972 when I was in junior high school, our Chinese teacher gave us a composition topic. My ideal? The ideals of our 48 classmates were varied, mainly including the following. I want to firmly grasp a steel gun and guard the frontier of the motherland. I want to be a sailor, steering a warship, defending the maritime defense of the motherland. I want to be a pilot, flying an eagle in the vast blue sky of the motherland. I want to be a driver, driving a truck, running on the socialist avenue. I want to be an angel in white, warming the hearts of patients. I want to be a teacher, using my hard sweat to irrigate the flowers of the socialist motherland. I want to be a coal miner, digging out more and better coal, so that the socialist blast furnace can operate 24 hours a day. I want to be a construction worker, building more high-rise buildings for the socialist motherland. I want to be a doctor, using my medical skills to relieve the suffering of the poor peasants. I want to be a new type of farmer, driving an iron bull, galloping in the fields of the motherland. 30 years later, except for one who realized his dream and became a teacher, the ideals of the other classmates were not realized. This fact shows that what kind of path a person takes and what kind of person they become is not up to them. Everyone is like a piece of iron. What kind of utensil it will become is not up to the iron itself, but is forged into shape according to the needs of the blacksmith. Perhaps some people will object. Junior high school students do not understand society, do not understand the trend of social development. Their ideals are too simple and cannot be used to prove that what kind of road to take, what kind of person to become is not up to oneself. Well, then you choose 50 people of different age stages and different cultural levels. Let them talk about what kind of path they will take in the next 10 years, what kind of person they will become, and verify it again in 10 years, see what the result is. Prosperity and adversity. Few people wish for a life full of hardships, obstacles, debts, and turmoil. Everyone strives for peace, smooth sailing, success, and turning misfortune into fortune. Yet, why do tragedies like emperors committing suicide, presidents going to jail, wealthy people committing suicide, and scholars begging happen? In Chinese history, there were cases where one person's crime led to the punishment of 9 generations and the extermination of an entire family. During World War II, millions of Jews were displaced and faced sudden calamities. How were these adversities created? Reflecting on the situations of our parents, peers, friends, and colleagues, some are in prosperity while others face adversity. What causes some to prosper while others suffer? Is it appearance, age, knowledge, beliefs, gender, race, family environment, social environment, intelligence, foolishness or evilness, lack of effort, or some other reason? My answer is, it's inevitable and beyond individual control. Prosperity and adversity are like the changing seasons, fluctuating with the changes in time and space, beyond human control, unless one has grasped the mysteries, like migratory birds changing their activity spaces with the seasons, or like Buddhist monks and Taoist masters who have transcended worldly desires and physiological urges, able to control a part of it. 18. Destination after death. First, let's excerpt a passage from the 1990 issue of Reader magazine, page 42, titled New Discussion on the Mystery of Death. A multinational company in Japan wanted to confirm whether brain waves still exist after death. Scientists implanted electrodes into the skulls of subjects, connected to a computer that could receive brain waves within an 80-kilometer range. Among the 10 deceased subjects, they found brain waves in two. One named Freddie. 3 days after death, the computer screen displayed, "I am Freddie. I am happy. There is no pain." The phrase, "there is no pain," appeared over 20 times before the brain waves disappeared. Another leukemia patient, on the 3rd day after death, the computer screen displayed, "This is a beautiful place. I am happy to be here. I feel joy." This experiment illustrates that brain waves exist after death. Whether this report is true, everyone should verify for themselves. I'm just telling you, there is life after death. Many people don't believe in an afterlife. They are deceived by the surface phenomena of the material world, bound by their conventional thinking, limited by their eyes, ears, and bodies, and restricted by limited scientific knowledge. They dismiss everything they cannot understand as superstition, witchcraft, and deny the negative universe, the 36-dimensional spaces, regarding everything unseen, unheard, unfelt, scientifically unproven, and unacknowledged by experts as illusory and non-existent. This can't be blamed on them. It's normal because until now, amidst the vast ocean of human wisdom, no book, philosophy, or ideology has fully elucidated the mysteries of the universe. Although the classics of major religions mention the afterlife, they fail to convince, leaving one only half believing, while modern science and technology have not fully confirmed life after death. Some people with extraordinary abilities, although capable of supernatural powers, either do not understand the mysteries or lack the ability to describe them, giving a sense of ambiguity and difficulty in distinguishing truth from falsehood. So, can life genuine explain clearly and convincingly? It's also very difficult, not because it can't be explained clearly, but because of our level of cultivation. For example, when I say sunlight is colorful, with various colors depending on what's in nature, you may find it unbelievable. When we talk about complex planes and imaginary functions, it's hard for elementary and middle school students to understand because they cannot be explained with examples from daily life. You can easily understand that 1 apple plus 1 apple equals 2 apples, but if I tell you 1 plus minus 1 equals the universe, it becomes inexplicable and incomprehensible. All middle school students know the periodic table of chemical elements, but when Mendeleev first arranged the elements, not even chemists believed it because many elements had not been discovered or confirmed. How did Mendeleev know about their existence? How do you know there are only these elements on Earth? Is it because humanity hasn't discovered them yet that you think Mendeleev is just fantasizing and piecing things together randomly? No, regardless of whether you believe it or not, the periodic table of chemical elements is an order, a necessity, just like every cell in a person has 23 pairs of chromosomes. If there are more or less, it's no longer a human. Everything in the universe follows a fixed procedure and order. So why was it Mendeleev who arranged the periodic table of chemical elements and not someone else? Buddhism teaches that humans have human eyes, deva eyes, wisdom eyes, dharma eyes, and Buddha eyes. Human eyes are understandable because we all have them. So, what are wisdom eyes? We can understand that too. For example, Bull identifies horses. Bull had wisdom in recognizing horses. He knew what kind of horse a fast horse was, what kind was a medium horse, and what kind was a poor horse. Some political leaders have the wisdom to recognize talents, like Li Shimin recognizing Wei Zheng. What about deva eyes? We can also understand that, for example, the Hubble Space Telescope, electron microscopes, laser mirrors, etc., are heavenly eyes that can see distant worlds and the microscopic world invisible to the naked eye, see beyond walls and skin. Such eyes are deva eyes. What about the dharma eye? It's relatively difficult to understand because only those who know the order of the universe, the structure of matter, and the past and future of any object or person possess the dharma eye. As we mentioned above, Mendeleev, in the field of chemical elements, already possessed the Dharma eye. Newton had a certain Dharma eye in the field of mechanics. Sakyamuni had the Dharma eye in the field of material structure. Thousands of years ago, in the Avatamsaka Sutra, it was said, "In each speck of dust, there are boundless worlds. In these worlds, there are again specks of dust. Within these specks of dust, there are again worlds." Such is the endless cycle, which cannot be exhausted. For example, the Earth universe is a speck of dust in the macrocosm. The Milky Way is a speck of dust in the spiral galaxy. The solar system is a speck of dust in the Milky Way. The Earth is a speck of dust in the solar system. Any single object is a speck of dust on Earth. A molecule is a speck of dust in an object. An atom is a speck of dust in a molecule. An electron is a speck of dust that constitutes an atom, and so on to protons, neutrons, photons, mesons, hyperons, variants, antiparticles, etc. Such is the endless cycle, which cannot be exhausted. How could Sakyamuni see so finely thousands of years ago? Because he had the Dharma eye. What about the Buddha eye? This is the most difficult level to understand, as it involves non-material, negative universe, 36-dimensional spaces, space-time view, existence and non-existence view, reality and illusion view, etc. Einstein once said, "For us believing physicists, the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion." This shows that Einstein has bypassed the boundary of the Buddha eye. The reason why Einstein is great lies here. For those who have the Buddha eye, time does not exist. The so-called seeing through the world is only for those who have the Buddha eye. Ordinary people can't see through it, and they have no way to see through it. Sakyamuni suddenly enlightened under the Bodhi tree and became a Buddha. So what is sudden enlightenment? And what is a Buddha? The Southern Buddhism in China talks about sudden enlightenment, which is actually a misunderstanding of sudden enlightenment, leading people astray. The real sudden enlightenment refers to the critical transformation point where a qualitative change suddenly occurs when the quantitative change reaches the limit. For example, a pot of cold water, heated on the fire, gradually changes from cold to warm. When its temperature reaches 100 degrees, we ignore the altitude for now, it becomes boiling water. Without the previous heating process, cold water can never suddenly enlighten into boiling water. Anyone who does not practice cultivation, don't dream of sudden enlightenment to become a Buddha. The natural law will not shift with human will. Sakyamuni suddenly enlightened to become a Buddha because he had been practicing cultivation for a long time, and the quantitative change had reached the extreme, and he was bound to become a Buddha. There is a joke about a person who only feels full after eating 9 buns. When he feels full after eating the 9th bun, he regrets it. If I had known that this 9th bun could fill me up, I wouldn't have eaten the previous 8 buns. Wasting 8 buns, I'm really stupid. Stupid? Indeed stupid, not just ordinary stupid. It's the square of stupid. What is a Buddha? Simply put, it is a person who already has the Buddha eye, a person who is in tune with the thinking of the universe, a person who is one with the Tao, a person who understands the intention of the ancestor of Buddha, the greatest creator, a person who has transcended time and space, embraced eternity. I've said a lot above, and the purpose is only one. That is to tell everyone that people have past lives and future lives, and life is constantly evolving and transforming. For example, the so-called death in people only refers to the death of the body. This ends the mission of carrying the spiritual body of life, returning to dust. The spiritual body of life will then go to another space. This is just like people taking a boat from this shore to the other shore. After reaching the other shore, they abandon the boat and go ashore, thus completing the mission of the boat. In this analogy, the body is the boat that carries the spiritual body of life from one shore to the other shore. Back to the main point, the destination after death is unknown to everyone. It's inevitable. So where exactly do people go after death? Based on the quality of each person's spiritual body, after death, they will go to one of the following 10 worlds. The 1,000-year world, described in the Bible as the resurrected world and the heaven hoped for by Islam. The 10,000-year world, the Elysium world, the anode black hole body, the womb of the mother body that nurtures animals and plants, serving as a means for them to return to the human world. The animal world, livestock world, animal world, plant world, netherworld, frozen layer, and inflamed layer. There are no other destinations.